Everyone, welcome back to the 8th part of our staking DApp project. In the last part, we have completed the entire admin panel with all the functionality. So make sure to watch it. In this video, we're going to start working on our home page. So this is where we left in the last video, and we have done all of the setups. We have imported all of the component and the state variables. Now, what are we going to do is before we start working on our component, let's create a couple of state variables. So let's come back here. First thing, we're going to take our address, and that's coming from our wallet provider. Then we have to take a couple of state variables. So this one is going to be for loader. By default, it will be false. Then we have to take another one. This one is going to be for contact us. And by default, it will be false. Then we'll take another state variable, and this will be pool ID. By default, it will be none. Then we'll take another one. This will be for withdraw pool ID. And by default, it will be null. Then we can come back here and we'll take another one. This will be pool detail. So in this particular variable, we're going to store all the details which we are fetching from our contract. So by default, it will be empty. Then we have to take this selected pool, and we have to take another one, and this one is going to be called selected token. Selected token. So these are the state variables we have taken. Everything is looking good. Now what we have to do is let's build a function which is going to fetch out all the information from our contract. So let's come back here. Let's take a variable called load data. It's going to be an async, and in that we have to check if the address exists, the user is connected, then we want to call this function. So we'll take this set loader to true because we have to display the loader. Then we can build this particular variable called data, and we have to simply call the smart contract function. So we'll say await contract data. In that we have to pass the address of the user. Got it? And now we have to simply set the data in our state variable. So we got our data, and let's make the loader close, and now we have to simply call this function. So we can come back here. We'll take this use effect, and in that we're going to simply call our function. So whenever the page will reload, we have to call this function, and when there is a change in the address, we have to call this function. So let's take this address, and in that we're going to simply call this function, and we'll set this. So that's the only thing we have to do. We are simply building the function, and then we are calling it whenever there is a page reload and there is a address change. Everything's look good. Let's do the console log so we can see in our terminal. So let's come back here in the browser. Let's do the inspect element, and here you can see we got the data from our contract. You will see we have all the data. So this is the pool array. In that we have all the details about the pools we have created. Here we have the notification, there is no notification. Then we have the deposit and all the details about the deposit token. So everything is looking good. Now we can start working on our component. So we can come back here. Let's build the entire component, and let's call all of that. So the second component is going to be hero section, and in that we have to send the prop. So let's send that to pool details, and this will be our add to MetaMask token function. Then we can come back here. Let's call this statistic. In that we can send this pool details prop. Then we can come back here. We'll send this. Let's call this pool. We'll take this pool component, and in that we have to send the props. So what I have noticed that I haven't imported the pool components, but we have here in our component section. So if I come here, there it is, and if I go into this index, there you will find that we have imported the pool components. So let's quickly import here. Let's call this pool. We got it. Now let's send the prop. So it's going to be the set pool ID. Then we have to send pool details. Then we have to send the selected pool. Then we have to send this selected token. That's all the 4 pool we are passing in that. Then we can come back here. We'll take this token, and in that we have to send the prop. So pool details, and in that we'll have all the details. Next, take the next one is going to be withdraw. Let's send the prop to withdraw pool ID. Then we'll have this pool details. These are the 2 data we are passing in our withdraw. Now we can come back here. Let's take this notification, and in that we have to simply send this pool details. Then we can come back here. Let's take this partner. We don't need to pass any argument in that. Then we have to take this call args, and in that we have to send the props set contact us. Got it? Now we have to come back here, and we should come back below the footer, and there we're going to display the pop-up models. So we can take this model, Close that one. And here we have to call this pool model, and in that we have to send the prop. So this one is going to be a deposit function. Then we have to send the pool ID. Then we have to send the address and selected pool. So these are the 4 props we are sending, and the last one is going to be the selected token and our loader. So these are the 6 props we are sending. Looks good. Now we can come back here and let's call the withdraw model. And that we have to send the prop. So it's going to be a withdraw function, and we have to also send this withdraw pool ID. Then we have to send this address, and we have to send this select loader, set loader, and we have to send this reward function, claim reward. So that's the prop we have to send here in the withdraw model. Looks good. Now we can come back here, and here we have to display the ICO cell which we have already developed in the last video, and that we have to send the loader. Looks good. And that's the entire component we have. We're going to add more, but let's work on this component. After that we're going to add more. So this is the imports, this is all the component we have, this is the function, this is the state variables we have taken, this is the function we are calling to get the data, and here we have all the models with the props. Looks good. Now let's come back to the browser and let's test this out. So if I reload the page, you will see that here it looks perfect. We have the component. If you click on this token ICO, it's going to really give you this pop-up model, and we can able to buy the token. So it's working fine. Looks good. This is the component we have to develop. So we have all the components which we have declared. That's all is here. Now come back here and let's start working with the partner, because in that we don't need to display any contract details. It's going to be a static partner. So let's start working straight away. So we can come back here, go back to the component section. There we have the partners. So there it is. Click here. And this is all the array of data I have already provided you in the starter file. So that's what we are getting. Let's make it side by side so we can see what exactly we are working on, and looks good. So let's start working on the JSX straight away. So first we have to change this div to a section. So let's change this to a section, and it will be have an ID. So we'll call it partner. It will have a class name. We'll call it section. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this container. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called row. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called column 12, column medium 8, offset is going to be medium 2. Then we'll have a column dash large 6, offset dash large 3. We'll have a column dash XL is going to be, let's say, 8, and we'll have an offset XL 2. So this is the classes we have. I hope you guys have applied the classes. Now looks good. Now we can simply come back into the div. Now we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this section dash dash title. Inside that we'll take a h2. It will be our text. We'll say our partners, and I can see the text is reflecting, but there is a problem in the class. Okay, there is a spelling mistake. Title, T-I-T-L-E. There it is. Looks perfect. Now we have to display the text message. So we'll take this P and we'll give this dummy text. Let me remove few lines from here. Now it's good. Got it? Now we can simply work on our cart section. So let's come back here, leave 3 div and come down here. We'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this row. Inside that we'll take our dynamic block, and we can to render the array. So we'll take the partners. We'll call map partner. It will be index, and we have to make it instant return. So we'll take a div. It will have a key. We'll pass it ID. We will have a class called column 6, column large 3. Inside that we'll take an anchor. Let's remove, and here we have to display our link. So we have the link partner.link. It will have a class. Let's call this partner, and you can see the boxes are reflecting fine. This looks good. Inside that we can display our image. We already have the image, so we'll take this partner.image. There it is. Looks good. Now we have to display our text. So we'll say P, and in that we can display the text partner.name. There it is. On over effect we are having the styling, and the links are displaying absolutely fine. So that's the only thing we have to do here. If I open this array, you can see we have all of these details like name, image, and URL. You can simply modify as per your branding. So let's close this one. Now we can come back here, and now we can start working on the next component. So we are done with the partner. Now we have to work on the, let's say, contact. Let's ask one, this one. So let's copy, and that's what we have to simply come back here. So this is the contact, like not in contact, we have to click on the arcs, this one. Let's receive the prop, and we're going to start working on a JSX straight away. So it's going to be a small component. So let's convert this to a section. It will have an ID called ask. It will have a class. Let's call this section. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this container. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called row. We'll have a row relative. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called call12. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class, and let's call this to question. There it is. Then we can come back here. We'll take h2 and we can display the class. We'll say class question dash dash title. Inside that we can say any question. So if I simply scroll down, you will see this is the one we have, and we have to display the text. So we'll take this para, and it will have a class called question dash dash title, and in that we want to display our text. So we'll say our support team is always on call and ready to help you with all your question. Okay, so this is quite big. I have to change the class to text instead of title. So change this one to text, and there it is. Looks good. Now we have to add a button. So we can simply come back here. We'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this section dash dash buttons. It will have a section dash dash buttons dash dash margin top, and it will have the button. Let's apply the classes. We'll call it section dash dash button, section dash dash button dash dash light, and in that we can simply display the text. So let's add an on click function, because when the user will click on the button, we have to open the contact form. So let's call this on click, and we'll say set contact us is going to be true, and here we'll say ask a question. Got it. So that's the component we have for this one. Looks good. So we're done with the partner. We are done with the ask section. Let's come back here. Now we're going to start working on the next section. So we're done with this, and now we're going to start working on the, let's say, pool details. Actually, we should start working on the hero section. Let's start from hero. Copy this prop, and that's what we can come here. Let's receive the prop. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. So we have received the prop. Remove this bracket. Remove this. Now looks good. Everything's good. And here we have to receive a couple of things from React. So let's receive the use effect, and we'll have a use state. We can come back here. We have to receive the account, which is coming from our wallet provider, use account. Then we have to simply import the currency, which is coming from our environment variable. So we'll say next public dot currency. We got it. Now we can simply come back here, and here we have to import the functionality. So we'll import couple of things. So this is coming from our context slash constants, and this will be our index. So we're going to get the function which load the entire ICO contract details. So we'll have the function, we'll say load token ICO, and so here we have to import the icon. So let's change this one. Actually, we don't need this. So let's remove this, import the icon, and in that I need the tick icon. So we'll say ti tick. So this is the imports of the packages and the function. Now we can simply come back here, and let's remove this. We need only the MetaMask function, because we are going to fetch the contract information about the tokens right up here. So we can come back here. So let's import the address, and that's coming from our provider. Then we have to simply take a state variable, and this one is going to be for percentage, because we're going to display the percentage bars, and we have to calculate that. So it's going to be an empty. Now we can simply come back here, and let's take this token details, which is going to keep all the information about the token, which we're going to fetch from the contract. Looks good. Now we can simply come here, and let's build the function. We're going to use this use effect, and in that we're going to simply call the function. So we'll say, and we have to call this function every time where there is a change in the address. So let's call this address. Looks good. Now we can simply build this if statement. If the address is there, then we have to simply call the function. So we'll say const load token. It's going to be an async function, and we have to simply call it. So let's call this token await load token ICO. We got that. Now we have to simply set this data to our state variable. We got it. And now we have to simply call the function. So we'll say load token. So in this way we can able to have the details about the token. So it's look good. We got this hook. Now we have to build the function which can allow us to calculate the percentage, so we can display out percentage bar. So we can simply come back here, and we can simply come here, and we have already built that particular function. So let's come back to the admin, and here we have this in the investing section, I guess investing, actually in the notification section. It's in the notification. Okay, this is the notification section where we have built. So simply copy this one. This is the entire function, and that's what we have to simply paste here. And we have to do the modification in the variables. Obviously it's going to throw an error, so just ignore that. And let's simply call this one token details, and that's what we have to call it here. And here we have to simply call the token sold token, and this will be token sold. We got it. And this is the new percentage. We have to simply change this to total token total supply, and here we have to simply do the calculation. So we're going to take this token details. From there we have to get the number of token got sold, and we have to also get the token balance which is available, and we can add those together. So we'll get the total number of token which is there in the contract, and we'll by default we'll go with 1. I hope you guys have understood the logic. We are getting the number of token got sold and the token number of balance we have, and we are adding together and multiplying with 1, so we can convert into a number. Looks good. Got it. And here we have to change it. This is fine, just keep it as it is. And here we have to simply change the variable. Simply copy and paste here, and the rest should be fine. The rest should be fine. This is good. And change here to token details. The error is gone. So this is our percentage component. Looks good. And now we can start working on our JSX. So this is fine. Check one more time. Looks good. And now we can start working on the JSX. So first thing, we have to simply change this to a section. It will have a ID called home. It will have a class. Let's call this to hero. There it is. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this container. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called row. Inside that we have to take a div. It will have a class called column 12, call dash large 7. We'll have column excel 6. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this hero dash dash content hero dash dash, and this will be first. And in that we have to display our brand and the button. So we'll take a h1. It will have a class. Let's call this hero dash dash title. Let's change this to dash dash, and inside that we can display our tagline. So we'll take a strong tag. Inside that I'll say crypto king, best return on your investment, and I can give a break tag. Is coming together, so I can simply add a break tag here. Good. Now we can come back here. Let's build our button. So we'll take a div. It will have a class. It will say hero dash dash button. Inside that we'll take anchor, and we have to add a on click function. So when we'll click on this function, it's going to open the ICO component. So let's call this data bs. Target is going to be our model dash hash model dash deposit 1. It will have the type is going to be button. It will have the data bs toggle is going to be model, and it will have a class. Let's call this hero dash dash button. There it is. Inside that we can display the button icon. So we'll say buy. We'll have a token symbol. We'll say dot symbol. There it is, and we can say empty, or we can say token. We got it. Now we have to work on the second button. We'll take a on click function, and we already have the MetaMask function which we have to call it. Let's assign the class. Call this hero dash dash button, hero dash dash button dash dash light. There it is. We got the button. Looks absolutely fine. In that we have to simply send the data. So let's call this add token, and we can display the symbol of the token. There it is. Looks good. Now we can simply come back here, and we have to work on the next section. So this will be 2. Let's change this to 1. Let's call it 1, and this is the 2. Now we can start working on the div. It will have a class. Let's call this column 12, column medium 6, column dash light 5, column excel 4, offset is going to be excel 2. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this hero dash dash content, hero dash dash content dash dash section. Inside that we'll take a div. it will have a class. Let's call this node dash dash hero. Inside that we can take a h3. It will have a class. Let's call this node dash dash title, and we'll have a node dash dash red, and in that we can display the icon of our token, so means symbol. So we'll take this token details dot symbol. We got it. And then else that, then we can simply come back here. We'll take this token ICO. There it is. But somehow the class is not working. I can see the problem. So here is going to be node dash dash red. So change this one and it will fix the issue. Got it. Now we can come back here. We'll take a span. It will have a class. Let's call this node dash dash date, and inside that we can take this token details. We have to access the price of the token. So let's give this dot, and we have to give the currency. So it's going to be, we already have the currency, and there it is. The price is reflecting fine. Now we can simply come back here, take a span. It will have a class. Let's call this node dash dash price. Inside that we can take our ICO left. So how many tokens are left exactly in the ICO contract. So that's what we can display. We'll take a BOL tag, and we can say token details, the token balance, and here we can display the token symbol. Got it. We got the token symbol. Now we can simply come back here. Let's take a span. It will have a class. Let's call this node dash dash line, and in that we can display our 3 dot images. So this image is coming from our image folder. We'll say dot light red or SVG. So we got our image. Looks good. Now we can simply come back here. We'll take a UL, and it will have a class called node dash dash list. Inside that we'll take our li, and it will have our icon, the tick icon. So we'll say ti. Inside that we can display the tick icon. We got it. That's look good. Now we have to display the text. So we can come back below the icon. We'll take a bold. It will have a percentage. So we'll give this dummy data, and I'll say of the deposit amount. Got it. Now I have to simply replicate it and paste here, and here we have to display the number of supply of the token. So let's change this to token supply, and we have to display the icon. So we'll say token symbol, and this will be the total supply. Looks good. Perfect. Now we can simply come back here, and we can start working on the progress bar. So we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this progress bar dash dash CTA, means call to action, and inside that we'll take h3. It will have a class. Let's call this progress bar dash dash title. Inside that we'll take our ICO cell, and we're going to display the balance, that how many tokens exactly got sold. And let's change this title to title proper spelling. There it is. And I also want to display the icon, so let's display that. We already have the icon. We'll say symbol. Got it. Now we can come back here. We'll take a div. Let's call the classes. We'll say progress. There it is. Let's assign the role. We'll say progress bar. Inside it will have an aerial attribute to aerial attribute. So we'll say label animated and strapped. That's good. Now we can come back here. We'll take a aerial value. Now is going to be hardcode. We'll go with 75, and let's set the minimum is going to be 0, and we'll have a maximum value as well, because we'll have a range from 0 to 100. So that's what we have here. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this progress dash bar. Progress will have a dash bar dash striped. We'll have a progress dash bar dash animated. Inside that well, let's add a custom class. So we'll say style is going to be with, and we have to display the percentage we have calculated. So percentage, and we'll give a percentage sign. That's it. So it's automatically going to reflect the percentage. Looks good. Now what we can do is we can simply come back here. We'll take a span. It will have the data of the tokens sold, the number of token we have sold. That's what we can display. You can see the 11 is displaying. Now we can simply come back here, and here we build a div. It will have a class called progress bar dash dash values. Inside that we can just take a span, and it will have a class called progress bar dash dash value. Progress bar dash dash value dash dash left. So like starting point and ending point. So I'll just keep it without giving any value. but I'm going to simply replicate it, and I have to give the right value. So change this to right, and I would say that it's going to be the total value, the total number of token. So we have to do the calculation, like we have to add the number of token got sold and the balance, and that's the number we have to display. So let's build that. We'll take this number and let's get this sold, like token balance, whatever the token balance we have to simply add with the total number of token got sold. So we have this sold token, and I'm getting this warning. Okay, this error is happening because I have to give a 0 here. So this is fine, this is fine. Here I have to provide the 0, and this will fix the issue, and you can see the total number of token is reflecting fine because the current token supply in the ICO contract is 0. That's why you can see it's 1111. Good. Now we can come here and we can see everything is looking good. We have done with the entire hero section, and I have noticed one thing, that our progress bar somehow is not working. So we have some issue in our progress bar. So this is the hook where we are calculating the entire percentage. So this is the calculation. It is exactly the fine. There is no problem. And here we are calculating the total number of token. So I'm just adding up, and I noticed one thing, that we have to calculate the percentage. We are not calculating the percentage. We are just passing the total number. So you can see this is the problem we have. We have to fix this one. So I have to calculate the percentage. So we can do that. Come back here. We'll call this cons percentage new, and here we have to do the mathematical calculation. So we'll take the token sold and we have to divide with the total number of token supply, and we have to simply multiply with 100. So we'll get out percentage, and that's what we have to update in our percentage here. Perfect. And still we are having an issue. It's not working. Why? Because this time we have provided the right percentage value. So this looks good. This is good. Now let's make on the big screen to see what exactly went wrong. So it's good. If I reload the page, you can see that it's not working. So this is, everything is good. All the data is reflecting fine, but the progress bar is not reflecting. And if I click on this button, it's reflecting here. If I can open it, and if I click on this, okay, I'm getting this error. So the function name is wrong. I can see that. So this is the function we have called, but this is not what the name I have, I guess. That's why I'm getting this error. So what I can do is, let's come back here and let's come here. Let's go back to the here, and in the index page we are passing this props correctly and we are importing the function correctly. So let's go to our constant file in the index and let's see what is the name we have called it. And here we have all the functions. So let's find the function. This is the one. It's called add token metamask. Okay, my bad. Simply copy this one, and actually we don't need any prop here, so remove this one. This is fine, just remove it. We don't need this. Copy the name properly, and that's the exact thing we have to call. So let's come back here in the next page and let's call it. Okay, the spelling mistake I had. So we got it. Now we have to replace in all the places. So I have to replace here, I have to replace here, I have to come back here, I have to replace. Let's close it, replace here, and I have to replace here. Got it? Now this is fine. Now if I reload the page, if I click on this add token, is going to open MetaMask and it will add the token perfectly. So it's working fine. You can see token added successfully. Now we have to deal with the percentage. Everything is looking good. This percentage is somehow not working, and I have noticed the problem. I noticed the issue we have. So here you can see the percentage has a space. So just remove this space. You can see in coding, this space, commas are play a very crucial role. So make sure to remove the space and it will work fine. Now you can come and you can see it's working fine. Reload the page, and here we got our progress bar. Perfect. Got it? All of these components are looking good. Close all of this. Now we can come back here on our home page. Now we can start working on our pool. And here we have the statistic. So let's start working on statistic. After that, we want to work on a pool. Come back here and let's receive our props here. See, receive the prop. Now let's close this one. Let's make it side by side so we can see what exactly we are working on. Let's start working on the JSX straight away because we already have the data. So let's take a class. Inside that, we'll take another div. It will have a class. Let's call this container. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class called row. Inside that, we'll take our dynamic data. So we already have the data in our array. So we'll access the pool info array. Once we have that, we have to simply run a map and we'll get this pool, and this will be index, and in that we have to simply build the HTML. So we'll take a div and let's give a key. It's going to be an index. Let's have a class, and this will be called call12, call small 6, call xl3. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call stats. Inside that, we'll take a span and we can display a class. Let's call this stats dash dash value. There you can see we are getting these 3 cards because we have 3 different pools. Inside that, we can display the value. So we can come back here, we'll access the pool and we can access the deposit amount and we can display the symbol. So let's give this HTML space tag and we can display our symbol. So deposited token symbol, there it is. Okay, the HTML space tag is not incorrect, so let's fix this one. It will be like SP. There it is. This looks good. Now we can come back here, we'll take a P and we can display our tag. So we'll say stats name, it will be current APY and I can display the percentage. So let's take this dot APY and it will be percentage. There it is. You can see we have 3 different percentage: 50%, 100% and 300%. We got it. Now what I will do is I need to have one more card. So I just want to display 3 pools. So let's slice it down to 3, 0 and it will be 3. Now I have to take one more for the total stats. So I'll simply copy this and that's what I can simply paste here. So let's come back here and let's remove this index and let's change the data. So this time we get the data from pool details and from there I can get the total deposit of the token. So we already have the data like total deposited amount and let's change this to deposit token and this will be our, let's call this, remove this, let's call this total stake and looks good. You can see we got this 3 card which is rendering dynamically and the 4th one in which we can display the total number of token deposit in our staking contract. Looks good. Got it? We're done with this entire section. Let's close this one. Now we can simply move to the next section, which is the pool section. So simply copy the props and that's what we can simply receive. And this particular section is going to be a little big because there is multiple things we have to build. So let's receive the prop and let's remove this one, remove this and the last one is remove this. So we got the prop. Now we have to receive couple of things. So we have to receive the icon and this is coming from index. We'll say MD outline attached money, that's the icon and we'll have a copy icon. So F rake copy. We got the icons. Now we can simply come back here and we have to format the data. So let's take this pool array and we already have the details about the pool. So we can get this pool info array. We'll say if we have, otherwise we have to go with empty array. So it's not an object, empty array. Good. We got our pool array. Now we can simply come back here and we can start working on the JSX. So let's take a ID. It will have a class called staking. It will have a class. Let's call this section. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call container. We'll have a div. It will have a class called row and we'll have a div. It will have a class. Let's say column 12, column large 8 and we'll have offset is going to be, let's say large 2 and we'll have a column XL is going to be 6 and we'll have an offset is going to be XL 3. So this is all the section we have and looks good. Now inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this section dash dash title. Inside that we can display our h2. We'll say staking pool. There it is. Now we have to display the p tag and we'll display a couple of dummy tags. So let's remove few lines from here. Got it? Now we can do one thing. We can simply come back here. We'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this row. Inside that we'll display our dynamic data. So we'll take this pool array and we'll simply say map. We'll say pool index and in that we have to build the entire JSX. So we'll take this div. Let's close this one. It will have a class. Let's assign a key first because every component is going to have a unique key. So let's say index. It will have a class. Let's call this a dynamic one. So this will be column 12. Inside that we have to change the color because we have 3 different colors. So we'll say if index is equal to 0 or index is equal to 1, in that scenario we have to display this particular class which is called column medium 6. If index is equal to 2, then I have to display nothing, else we go with simple nothing. So that's the simple condition we have built. If it's 0 or 1, then we have to display this column medium 6 otherwise we go with empty. We got it. Now we can simply take the normal class log large 4. Got it. Inside the div, we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this a pool, and there is you can see the card. We got it. Inside that, we'll take h3. It will have a class. Let's call this a pool dash dash title. Inside that, we can display the data dynamically. So we already have this condition. So we can simply take this portion, and that's what we can paste. And here we have to do the changes. Remove this one. So we'll say if index is 0, then we can say it's a maximum. If index is 2, 1, then we can say it's going to be standard, and this one is going to be, let's say, actually we need one more condition, elite and advanced. So let's build that. So remove this one, take index is equal to 2, then it's going to be elite, and we'll have advanced. Got it. Now we have to remove this, and looks good. You can see. Now we can simply come back here. We'll take a UL. It will have a class. Let's call this name nav tab, a pool dash tab, a pool dash dash tab, and we'll have a dynamic classes. So let's take this copy, and that's what we can paste here. Let's change this to orange. This will be green, this will be blue, and this will be orange. So this is our dynamic classes. Now we can come back here. Let's have an ID and simply copy this one, because our ID is also going to be a dynamic one, and paste here. So we'll say if index is equal to 0, then we have to call this app a pool tab 1, and this ID is very important. So make sure to give the exact ID, because this ID is going to trigger our different component when we go to click. So this one is tabs 1. Now simply copy this one, and here we have to say 2, and this will be 3, and we remove this one. This is our dynamic ID. Now we have to assign a role to be a tab list. Got it. Now we can come back here. We'll take a li. It will have a class. Let's call this nav dash item. It will have a role called presentation. Inside that, we can take a button. It will have a, let's say, class called action active, and it will have a data base toggle, and we have to display the dynamic ID. So we'll say tab. It will have a data base target, and here we have to display the dynamic. So simply copy this portion, and that's what we can paste here, and here we have to do the changes. So this will be hash at tab 1. So this is very important. Give the exact one. Simply copy, paste here. This will be 3, and this will be 5. We got it. Now we can come back here. Let's type is going to be a button. We'll assign the role. It will be a tab, and we'll have an area control. We have to make it dynamic, so we can simply copy this one. That's what we can paste, and let's give this, and here we have to do the changes. So we have to remove this hash. So let's remove this one, and remove this one. Got it. We got the button. Now we can simply come back here. We'll say area selected is gonna be true, and we can display the button name. So here we have to display the days. So we'll say a pool dot log day. Okay, my bad. Simply say dot log day, and we'll say days. There it is. You can see we are having the active class is also working fine. Got it. So this is our first tab we have. Now we have to simply copy this one. We're going to have one more tab for details. So here we have to do the changes. So we have to remove this active class first. Then we have to simply change this portion is going to be 2. This will be 4, and this will be 6. And here we have to do the changes as well. This will be 2, 4, 6. Got it. And this will be false, and this will be the details. So we got our 2 tabs. You can click and you can open 2 different components. Got it. Now we can simply come back here, and we have to work on the body. So we'll take a div. It will have a class called tab content. Inside that, we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this tab dash dash pan fed show active. So by default, this is the tab we're going to open. Inside that, we'll take a, let's say, it will have an ID as well. So we'll take this dynamic ID. So we can simply come back here and we can simply copy this portion, and that's what we can paste here. And let's assign the ID. So this will be our 1, 3, 5. We can assign the role is going to be tab panel. Inside the div, we can take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this a pool dash content. Inside that, we can take a span. It will have a class called a pool dash value, and inside that we have to display the deposited amount, the amount which you have deposited. So we'll say deposited, and we have the data inside the pool amount, and we can display the icon. So we'll say symbol. Save it. The data is there. Maybe there is a problem in the class. Okay, I can see that. So let's assign this save space. Let's give this space, and there it is. It's in the center. Now simply copy and replicate it, and here we have to change this to reward. The reward you have 1, and here we have this user reward, and the symbol is going to be exactly the same. Now we have to simply display the percentage which you are receiving. So we got to data. Now we can come here. We'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this tab dash panel fed, and it will have an ID. So simply copy, and this is going to be our second component for details. So here we have to do the changes. It will be 3, 2, 4, and 6. Let's assign the role is going to be tab panel, and this will be inside that we have to take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this a pool dash dash content. Inside that we have to take the value. So we'll say class a pool dash dash value, and in that we have to display the details. So we'll take this bold tag and we'll display the deposit token symbol, and we have to display the address. So we'll take the HTML space and display the address. So we'll say pool dot deposit token dot address, and let me slice it down to 15. And here we have, you can see this is reflecting fine. All the tabs are working fine. Now we can simply give this, and we can give our copy icon. There it is. Looks good. Now I'm going to simply copy this, and we have to display the reward token as well. So let's change this to reward. This will be reward token. Looks fine. Once we're done with that, now we have to simply display the percentage. Simply copy, and here we have to do the changes. So let's remove this. This will be current APY, and here is going to be the percentage. So it will say APY, and remove this and give percentage. There it is. So we got our dynamic tabs working fine for different pools, and we are having the details. Looks good. Now we can simply come back here and display the buttons and the input field. So we can come back here. We'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this a pool dash dash group. Inside that we'll take a label. It will have a pool 1. It will have a class. Let's call a pool dash dash label. Inside that we can take a total deposited, means the total token dot deposited in a particular pool, and we'll say amount. That's what we have the label. Now we have to display the input field, and we remove this, and we can take a style tag. It will be background color is going to be transparent. There it is. Now we have to assign the class. It will be a pool dash input, okay, dash dash double dash. There it is. Looks good. Inside that we can display the placeholder. We can display the data. So we'll say pool, click a template tutorial, and we can say pool deposit amount. So total number of token we have deposited in this particular pool, and we can display the symbol which we have in the deposit token dot symbol. Deposit token dot symbol. Got it? It's reflecting fine. And I want to disable this particular input field because it's just for displaying the data. So let's call this disabled. So that's the entire input field. You can see on the click event nothing is happening. Now we have to work on the button so the user can click and open the pop-up model. So we'll take it button. It will have a class. Let's call this a pool dash dash button. It will have a data attributes. We'll say data base target is going to be hash model a pool, and there it is. It will have a type is going to be a button, and it will have the database toggle. In that we'll pass model, and it will have an on click function, and in the on click function we have to update the data so we can receive in our function. So let's call this, and we'll say set pool ID is going to be the index is going to be a dynamic one. So we'll say if index is equal to 0, then it will be 0. If index is equal to 1, then it will be 1, and if it's equal to 2, then it's going to be 2, else we go with nothing, because we are displaying 3 pools in the front end. So that's our pool ID. Now we have to call 2 more. We'll say like set pool, let's set pool, select like selected pool, we'll paste that, and we have to paste this selected token, and that's it. It will work fine. So that's our dynamic on click function. Now we can simply say invest, and that's the only thing we have to do. It looks good. Now we can simply come back here. Let's take a span, and we can have a class, and we'll say block dash icon. We'll say block dash icon, and here we have to add a dynamic class, so we can show the $sign. So we can take this and we can simply copy it. We can come back here, and we have already taken this one, so this is the one which we need to take. So take this one, and that's what we can paste, and we can display our icon. You can see the circle is reflecting. Now we can display the icon we have here. So we already have this money icon. In that we can simply add couple of custom class. So we'll say first we have to change the color to white, and we have to increase the size. So it's going to be a font size is going to be 1.5 rm. There it is, and that's the entire component. Now we can come back here, and I want to display only 3 in this, not more than that. So we can first take this span. It's a decorative item, and we'll have a class that's called say screw dash dash line, and I can simply remove this one, and let's restrict to 2, only 3 pools I want to display, and that's the only thing we have to do. So we are done with this entire pool component. You can see importing this function, then this is the entire HTML we have coded our dynamic component for different pools with different data. Got it. Now looks good. Let's make on the big screen, and it's perfect. You can click and you can go to the different section. You can click and it's nothing. It will give you this error because we don't have the pop-up module, so it's also working. Reload the page, and here we taking a little bit time. Make sure to reload the page, and here we got the data. Looks good, and this looks good. Now I noticed one thing. We can come back here, close this one, and we can simply come back here. This is the token details we have. Now we can start working on it. So let's come back, like we can go back here in the token, and that's what we can start working now. So let's paste this, receive the prop, and let's make it side by side, and let's work on the token details. So let's take a class. It's gonna be section. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this container. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class row. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called column 12, column medium 10, offset is going to be medium 1, column large 6, offset is going to be large 3. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call this section dash dash title. Inside that we'll take h2. We'll say token, and we'll have a paragraph text. So we'll say more feature with own token. That's it. You can type anything, whatever you want. Now we can come back here, and here we have to display the cart section. So we can come back. We'll take a div. It will have a class. Let's call row relative. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class column 12. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called class invest dash dash big, and in that we can take this class. We'll say invest dash dash title. Inside that we can display the token. We'll take a div. It will have a row. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called column 12, column large 5. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called invest dash dash rate dash wrap. Inside that we can take a div. It will have a class called invest dash dash rate. Inside that we can take a span, and we will say stake supply. Got it? Inside that we can take a this. Then we can take a paragraph tag, and we'll display our data. So we already have the data here in the deposit token total supply, and we can display the icon. Simply copy and paste here and change this to symbol. We got the icon. Now we can come back here. We'll take a div. It will have a class called invest dash dash green. Inside that we can take an image, and this image is coming from our image folder. We'll say graph to svg. There it is. Now we can simply come back here, and now we can start working on the next card. So we'll take this column 12, column dash large 5, offset large 1. Inside that we'll take a div. It will have a class called invest dash dash red dash wrap. Inside that we'll take a div and it will have a class called invest dash dash rate. Remove this one, save it, come back here. We'll take a span, we'll say total stake, and inside that we can take a paragraph. It will have a class called green. In that we can display the data. We'll say pool details, deposit token, we'll say contract token balance. So how many tokens are stake in the contract, that's what we are displaying, and we have to slice it down to 10. There it is, and we can display the symbol. We'll say deposit token dot symbol. There it is. This looks good. Now we can come back here. We can display the image. We'll take a div. It will have a class called investing graph. There it is. Inside that we can display the image. It's coming from our image folder. We'll say graph and graph1.svg. There it is. Now we can simply leave 3 div. We can come here and now we can start working on the third component. We'll take a class column 12, column large 5, and I have noticed one thing, that it's repeating, so I can simply replicate this one. Simply copy, close this one and close this one. So simply copy this one and that's what we can paste and change the data. So this will be the reward token. Let's change the data to be total supply and remove this. This will be reward token. Copy and paste here, reward token. Now we have to change the image, so it will be 3. Got it? And we're going to have one more. Simply copy, and that's what we have to simply paste here. And change this to, let's say this will be total stake. And I have to change the class. It's green. I have to change the red. So like come back here, and this will be red. And this is fine, the green. Let's change this and let's display the price of our token. 1 TBC token is equal to this much ether. And we can change the image, this, and now we can display the paragraph. So the card is done. We can simply leave a couple of divs and we can display the paragraph, this dummy text. So let's have a class called invest-info, and there it is. That's the whole thing. Let's make on the big screen and you can see it looks absolutely incredible. We have all of this section. Okay, there is some problem in the alignment. We are having extra space in the third section, so that's the one we have to fix, and I know the problem. So I can simply come back here and you can see it has column large 5, and there we have this one. Closes this, and from here we have to remove it, save it, and now it will fix the issue. There it is. Now they are perfectly aligned. We got it. All of this looks good. Let's do the inspect element and see everything is looking great. We have no issue in that. So perfect. Now close this one and we are done with that. Now we can start working on the next components called withdraw. So simply this is notification and withdraw is left. So first we can start working on withdraw. Simply copy, and that's what we can simply import here. So let's import that, remove this one and remove this one. So that's the only thing I want to cover in this video. This video is already getting very long. So in the next video, we start continuing from here. So let's move to the next video.